together, and it will be you that we will be calling upon.
Yes! Well said, Jada. Go on, Jada.
I've had so many messages sent to me recently about proposed mosques over in Northern Ireland. And let me tell you now, I know that there's a couple of mosques, and I know that they don't do particularly well when they try and get any more. But let me tell you now, they won't stop. They will never stop. They will file application after application to get another mosque built. And if they don't get one, they'll just convert a house into a mosque. And then the council will be forced to let them have it as a mosque because it's their religious right. And this is how they infiltrate, okay? This is how it happens. Now, I know that people here recognise this because people here today have come up to me and told me about another mosque that's being proposed, that's supposedly being built over here, over my bloody dead body.
Yes! For the mosque.
Britain First will be leading the campaign against every single mosque that is proposed in Northern Ireland. I am not just saying this, I am promising you right here, right now, I myself, Britain First, will be here with you to make sure that these dens of iniquity do not cover every single street corner of this beautiful country. It's not happening.
Yes! Go on, Jada.
I won't watch Ulster fall. No way. I watched London change. I'm only 31. I know I look older, it's a hard life. I'm only 31, and do you know what? I've seen my hometown completely fall. Completely fall. I've gone from living on council estates that have been predominantly British, indigenous people, to being a minority in my hometown and being unwelcome in my own town. And so I won't watch Ulster go the same way. So I'm pleased to announce that Britain First, Northern Ireland, has been registered. And I will be leading Britain First in Northern Ireland. Yay! And I will be here for you. I will be here for every one of you. And believe me, you're going to get sick of seeing me because I've got so much to do here. I intend to lead the movement in Northern Ireland, and I intend to take on every single corrupt politician, everyone that thinks they can sell us out. They're going to meet their match. I will make their lives a living hell. And you know the first thing I'm going to do? The first thing, at the first opportunity, you mark my words, I'm going to kick my heels off, I'm going to get up a bloody ladder, and I'm going to get our flag back at the top of that pole!
Yes! Go on, Jada!
You know, Paul Rimmer said about the Bible, about being pushovers, about being meek. Do you know what it said in it? And they were abusing it. What did he do? He got angry. He turned the tables upside down. He went crazy at people. He got really angry because he told them, do not disrespect my temple. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, is our temple, and we should get angry when people disrespect it. The time is now.
Yes.
This is our country. These are our flags. These are our
people.
For anyone who wants to try and threaten us, bring it on. Because the battle can commence right here today. Britain First is established here. We're going nowhere. If anybody wants to take us on, then bring it on, and I will have every single one of you beside me gladly. God bless every single one of you. No surrender!
Can we have an extra clap for Jada? Jada nearly wasn't making it today because she's not well. So I want an extra clap for her because she's such an amazing girl. And Jada, I will be holding you to what you said today. So, guys, Jada has made some extremely good points about Islam. And This is a worldwide threat. These savage killings are taking place on an almost daily basis. Around the world, Christians, Sikhs, Jews and all other religions are being slaughtered for their beliefs. Yet we point out that Islamic teachings and laws are teachings of violence and oppression of women, and we're labelled racist and fascists. I don't care what colour your skin is. I don't care where you come from. If your faith teaches you that you should murder people, if they don't conform to your beliefs and your ideology, then your faith needs to be opposed.
Yeah.
Now, our next speaker is the leader of Britain First, and I'm really looking forward to welcoming Paul Golden to the mic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for this warm welcome. Both me and Jada are thrilled to be over here. You probably see my online reports of I was over on the 12th of July. This sound system's annoying. I was over here on the 12th of July. I pretty much come every year. It might surprise you to know that Britain First was conceived and launched in Northern Ireland. I remember being in an office with 2 other people in Dundonald, near Stormont. And there was 3 of us sat around a table, and we looked around at the political scene, the political landscape, and there was nothing in this country with any backbone that would stand up for our people. We resolved right then that we would launch a movement, and carry out a 30-year struggle to save our country. It's going to be a long, hard road. We might not survive this struggle. England is going to descend into civil war. There's going to be bloodshed. You've seen the template for this kind of thing over in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. That is going to come to the mainland, except it's going to be far more vicious and bloodthirsty. But myself and Jada and the rest of our movement, we started off with 3 people, and now we number millions around the world. And I can tell you now, we will not stop. No matter how many times they shoot us, stab us, throw cans at us, no matter how many times they try, the police arrest us, throw me in prison. I spent the entire Christmas period in prison for confronting a hate preacher in Cardiff who said it was okay for Muslims to keep sex slaves. They threw me in prison because I burst in the mosque to confront him. Well, I can tell you now, they can throw me in prison, they can shoot me, they can bomb me, they can blow me limbs off, but I will not stop until this country has been restored to its former...
Yes! Go on, Paul.
This country is our inheritance from our ancestors. Hands up, how many people here have got parents and grandparents who fought for this country in wars? Get your hands up. Every single one of our families has bled. Their blood is in the mud and the dirt on battlefields on every continent of the world. They're at the bottom of the Atlantic and every sea and every ocean of the world. It was our people, millions of our people who fought and died. They charged up the beaches of Normandy. They fought in the Spitfires and the Hurricanes. For what reason? To hand down this country to you, their children and grandchildren.
Yes.
There's an unbroken chain of life that stretches back thousands of years of our people, the indigenous people of these islands. And I will be damned if the corrupt politicians and the establishment think that they can replace us in our own homeland, that they can treat us like second-class citizens. Britain First is not an ordinary political movement. We're a declaration of war against every corrupt politician.
Yes! Go on, Paul.
As Jada said, we're now registered as a formal political party in Northern Ireland. The problem over here, I understand, is in its infancy regarding Islam, but you can see from the mainland what is going to happen. Because 50 years ago, there was only a small percentage of Muslims in our country. There was a very handful of mosques. Now look at it. I've been up and down England, Scotland and Wales, and I can tell you now, some areas of our country, some towns, Luton, East London, Blackburn, Bradford, They are no longer British. They resemble the Third World. They resemble the Middle East. They are lost to our country. The politicians are deliberately replacing us in our own country. It's an act of genocide. I see it over here in Northern Ireland. They're suppressing our culture, our traditions, just a little bit at a time. A little bit here, a little bit there. We'll have nothing left by the end of this process. It's time to grow a backbone and fight for our country just like our ancestors did.
Yes.
One thing that absolutely sickened me, because I was over in Northern Ireland at the time. I lived in Northern Ireland for a whole year before I moved back to the mainland. Britain First was conceived and launched over here. We based Britain First, our approach, our logo, our crest. Where are they? Look at this, look. Does this look familiar? We based our entire movement on Ulster loyalism and Ulster unionism. Britain First was always back the unionist, the PUL people of Northern Ireland. We will never surrender and we will never bow down to these corrupt politicians. It made me sick the day they took that flag down from City Hall. And now I see it there, an empty flagpole. That is a symbol, rubbing it in our faces of our oppression in our own country. We can't even fly our bloody flag over our own town hall. This is just the beginning. Don't think this is going to get easier. Don't think it's going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get so bad, eventually, that the British people are going to have to get up off their lazy backsides and do something. At the moment, it's quite possible for people to watch X Factor on a Saturday night, to go down the pub. Most people are employed. Everyone can most feed their families. But I can tell you now, over the next 10 to 15 years, there's going to be fundamental changes in this country. Our country is going down the toilet. How many of you have been over to London? How many of you have been over to the mainland and you've seen these areas like Birmingham and Nottingham and Bradford? How many people have seen what these towns have become?
Shitholes.
Now I remember a brave Christian spoke out about this over here. Now, before that, I used to go to a church when I lived over here in northern Belfast. In White Rock, I believe. Something like that. Whitewell, that's it. Used to go to Whitewell Church. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. And the preacher there, the minister, was making his sermons and all that. And then 6 months, a year later, he calls Islam satanic and the establishment come down on him like a ton of bricks. Well, I can tell you now, that man is a good Christian, and he's telling the truth.
Pastor McConnell.
Pastor McConnell is a good man, and he was a brave man. He didn't back down, did he? He stuck to his guns like a true Christian should. You tell the truth, to hell with the consequences.
Yeah.
But look at the way your establishment came down on him like a ton of bricks. Now, the reason he came out and said that is because the Imam, the Muslim leader at the Belfast Islamic Centre, came out and said that life under ISIS in Mosul was great. Sure. That's the leader of the Muslims in Northern Ireland. Now, I was shocked to my core when I was in Newton Ards and someone told me there was a mosque there. I didn't believe them. So they told me where it was and I went round there. And I did a bit of filming outside this building that's a mosque. In Newton Ards, of all places, for God's sake. No one really knows what's creeping in Ulster. Even people I spoke to were shocked. They didn't even realise there was a mosque in Newton Ards. And when I was outside filming, a people carrier full of young Muslims with tank tops on all jumped out and said, "What are you doing outside our mosque?" This was in Newton Ards. This is colonisation and Islamisation by the back door. Believe me, it's going to get a lot worse. And what makes me sick is that your defenders, your supposed defenders, people like the DUP and the UUP and all these establishment so-called unionist politicians who are filling their boots and feeding at the trough here and elsewhere at Stormont, they have not got your back, okay? Britain First is registered in Northern Ireland because we are going to start standing in elections. We're going to put forward people who don't care about career, who don't care about money. They only care about their inheritance from their ancestors, okay? That's all that matters, that we hand down a Northern Ireland that is still British to future generations of our people. And unless you make a stand now, when the odds are in your favour, you will regret it later.
Promise you, you will.
Yes.
You will regret it.
Britain First was never intended to be a normal political party. We're a front line. We're a declaration of war against the establishment, against everyone who raises their hand against our country. They will feel the wrath of Britain First.
Yes.
We're a front line for our people. Now, we've all seen during the Troubles that this country suffered at the hands of Republican terrorists. Britain suffered at the hands of Republican terrorists. That threat has largely dissipated and been replaced by a new threat. The whole of Europe, the whole of the West is facing a new threat to its survival. Now, we haven't got a problem with Jewish groups blowing up and running down and stabbing and shooting people around the West, have we? We haven't got a problem with Sikhs or Hindus. We've got a problem with one religion and one religion only, and that is Islam. The common denominator in all of this is the religion of Islam. And the most talked about concept in the Quran, as was said earlier, is jihad against non-Muslims. If you don't believe me, there's a Waterstones around the corner. Go and buy yourself a Quran and read it. Okay? It's all there in black and white. Why do you think these lunatics are around the world? Do you remember the Brussels airport attack? Do you remember the Nice, when they mowed everyone, 84 people got killed by a lorry in Nice? Do you remember all the massacres in Paris? Do you remember the Berlin Christmas attack? I'm losing track. Do you remember the Munich shooting at the mall? Do you remember the Orlando nightclub attack? Do you remember when the Canadian Parliament was attacked? Do you remember the siege in the cafe in Sydney? This is all a common denominator, and it's going to get worse, because thanks to low birth rates amongst our people are shrinking in number. The birth rates amongst the Islamic community in the mainland is like 7 or 8 children per female. It's enormous. They're quadrupling in size every 20 years. And it's going to get worse and worse. You think we've got it bad at the moment? This is the calm before the storm. It's going to get much, much worse. The amount of attacks, the amount of grooming scandals, FGM, halal slaughter, all these problems, terrorists, extremists, the mosques all over the country, new mosque applications, they're popping up absolutely everywhere. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And I can tell you now, they've already got a foothold here in Northern Ireland. I've seen it with my own eyes. When I burst into the Islamic centre of Belfast to confront that vile excuse for a human being who said life is good under ISIS, when I went in there, I could see that this was just the beginning. When I was outside Newtonard's mosque and a big mob of them came over to me and said, "What are you doing outside our mosque? This is happening already on your streets." Okay? And if you think the politicians in Stormont and this building behind me are going to defend you, are going to protect you, have got your best interests at heart, you're grossly mistaken. Because they're already gone native in the establishment, they're corrupt. All they care about is money and career. Okay? You can tell by the danger that people like me and Jada put ourselves in. We care little for ourselves. We exist purely to fight for our country. We've dedicated our lives to this movement. And millions of people all around the world and in Britain are following us now. This is just the beginning. I can tell you now, one day we will take our country back. Yay! One day the boot will be on the other foot. One day we will have the upper hand. And I can tell you now, down to small things like that flag going back up, down to things like no terrorists in government, you don't bomb and shoot your way to power. The honour of our country and our ancestors will be restored. We will not bend over backwards to appease Republicans or Islamists. Their feet will not touch the ground. We will use the power of Great Britain to make our people safe, to put our own people first in our own country. That is the ultimate goal of our movement, and that's why we chose the name Britain First, because that is exactly what we stand for.
Go on, Paul.
At the moment, England is weak. Our people are asleep. Our young folk do not know what's going on. They've come for an education system that's brainwashed them, denied them their own history and their own heritage. Okay? But I can tell you now, we will restore our country. We will put our own people first. We will sort our borders out. We will grab this country by the scruff of the neck and rebuild it. And our ancestors smiling down on us from heaven will be proud of this generation. Britain First was conceived in Northern Ireland. And this is where I imagine in a few years when it becomes so dangerous on the mainland that me and Jada, we will be operating and living from Northern Ireland, because this is the last bastion of Britishness still left within the British Isles. I brought some of my security with me over on the 12th, and they could not believe it. Their eyes were popping out of their heads. You know, and I took, where's Paul gone? I took Paul, he's an Orangeman and he's never been to Northern Ireland. I took him on a tour yesterday. We was at the bottom of the Crumlin Road, and I come up to the roundabout. I said, if you turn right here, it's Republican. If you turn left, we're into the Shanker Estate, Loyalist. And we turned left, and all it, straight away, bunting, flags, and it was amazing. How did that make you feel, Paul?
Proud man.
This is the last bastion of Britishness left. And I can tell you now, Britain First stands 100% behind the PUL community in Northern Ireland. You're our people and we are your people. For Queen and country, we will take our country back. We will make our ancestors proud. We will build a future for our children unlike they can ever dream. And it all starts today.
Yes.
Are you behind us? Are you with us?
Yes!
Enough of corrupt unionist politicians. Enough of the Republicans riding roughshod over our culture and our traditions. We have had enough. Britain First has come to Northern Ireland and we're here to stay. And I can tell you now, we will give, just like Jada said, we will give all these corrupt politicians a real rough time. You've probably seen Britain First running around the streets of England on every, street corner, absolutely going to town on Islamic extremists. We created so much trouble in London for the Islamists, people like Anjem Chowdhury, Abu Izzadeen, all the terrorists, all the people who radicalised the killers of Lee Rigby. We chased them off the streets of London. And if we have to come here and chase the corrupt politicians in City Hall and Stormont off the streets, then we bloody will, because we love our country. Britain First, fighting
yes! Back. Britain First, fighting back.
I hope that you'll get behind our movement here in Northern Ireland, and we're going to be spending a hell of a lot of time over here, because like I said, this is the only place, if you're a patriotic British, and you love your country, this is the only place that you can come. And I know every single one of you are either in the Orange Order, or you're in the Loyalist Flute Band, or you're in some way connected to the cause. And this is what we want to bring to England. That's why all those years ago when we launched Britain First, we did it from Northern Ireland, and we copied the way you guys do it. And it's worked, because we've got millions of people behind us now, all over Great Britain. The struggle is just beginning. We don't know how it's going to end. But all I can say is, in a few decades, you need to be able to look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and think, I did my duty for my country.
Yes.
I did what is right, not what was convenient.
Yes. Yes.
I can hold my head up high.
Yeah.
We don't know how this is going to end. But we can choose, as proud British patriots, to fight with our last dying breath,
yes,
and every drop of blood in our body for Queen and country, for
yes,
God and Ulster. No surrender!
Yes! No surrender!
Paul, thank you very much.
This is Colleen, the council, who's organising.
Right, we've talked a lot about the fight back today and how we fight back. And I know you are all thinking, how can we start? What can we do to help? The first thing you need to do, and it's a very important thing you need to do, is get registered to vote. If you're already registered, then encourage your friends and your family to get registered. Canvassing in this country would shock you. The amount of people who care about this country, who aren't on the electoral register to have their voice heard, is unbelievable. So get yourselves registered to vote, and get your friends and family registered to vote. Engage in political activism is my second point. Join a political party. Come to rallies like this and protests such as this one. And again, encourage your friends and family to attend with you and to hear the message. Now, I want to thank every single one of you for coming here today, and I hope you have had an enjoyable time. But most importantly, I hope that you'll take the information that you have learned here today, and I hope you'll tell people about it.
Aye.
The videos of today will be readily available online. Please share them on your social media accounts. We need to get this out here. Now, how many of you know about the plight of the Israeli Christians fleeing Daesh terrorists who are killing the men, raping the women and children? Very little, because the mainstream media don't want to cover things like that.
No.
Ditch the mainstream media.
Yes.
If the mainstream media aren't going to tell you the truth, why should we give them our time?
Yes.
If you want to find out what's really going on in the world, start watching alternative media.
Fuck the BBC.
To name a few, we have the Rebel Media, we have InfoWars, we have Make Britain Great Again News, we have Breitbart, and of course we have Britain First, whose YouTube channel is fantastic. These outlets work with some really great people, from Tommy Robinson, Paul Joseph Watson, Luke Nash Jones, Lawrence Southern, among many others, who want to tell you the truth. I'm just going to close here, and I want to thank the people who have been involved in making today a success. A massive thank you to the speakers, but especially to the people who have worked behind the scene. Unfortunately, there are far too many for to mention, but thank you all very, very much. Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to thank Councillor Jolene Bunting for inviting us all over, for organising such a great day.
Yay!
Yep. Now let me hear the 3 cheers for Councillor Jolene Bunting. Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hip hip!
Hooray!
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
It really is my pleasure to host this today. It's been a fantastic day. Thank you all for coming again. Now, I just want you to be very, very careful going home. I want you to be vigilant. I want you to have your phones at the ready. Remember, terrorists are walking on our streets today. So just be very vigilant and be careful on your way home today. Thank you all so much for coming, and God bless you. Come on, we'll be singing our national anthem, please. Can someone else start? Because I can't sing.
We'll start national anthem.
Oh dear. Right. Okay, everyone attention after the national anthem.
God save our
Gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save our Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
Yes!
No surrender!
No surrender! We are the people! Brilliant.
Can I get a picture with you?
Yes. No, I'm still at the minute. I'm going to have a little word with you, John, actually. Oh. How are you, John? You did a real brilliant speech today, I've got to say.
I've enjoyed today. It's been magic.
I'd say it's one of your best speeches you've ever done, mate.
Well, I hope it works all right. I hope people listen,
I
because
think they did, you know.
the trouble we've got in Britain on the mainland is coming to these guys, and unless they look and see and learn, it's going to happen to us.
All we can do is keep doing what you're doing, mate.
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
Just no surrender for everybody. Keep the battle going. Everybody, every angle. David Russell, Graham Moore, Indy L.
We all need to come together, don't we?
Yeah. It's all happening.
It is happening. It will happen eventually.
So when we get a first division leader and somebody to follow it, will happen.
We need a new Premiership leader. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, I mean they're out there. You've got your Douglas Murrays, Katie Hopkins, Colonel, bloody whatever. Hey up, guys.
How you doing, my mate? Good to see you, mate.
Come and say hello to you.
Yeah, you did, mate. And did you get your t-shirt, mate? Loving it. This is one of the old mates off Facebook. Come say hello.
Nice to meet you. All right, pal.
All right. Good picture, mate. Good picture.
Did you hear his speech today, mate?
Oh,
yeah, he's done well, didn't he?
Unbelievable.
Just whether people listen and act on it. You've got to. Right, cheers, pal. People
Nice
have
to
got
meet you,
to.
pal.
Like Jolene said, got to get active.
Since I started there a few years back, about 4 years ago, basically the AAU, I started it.
Yeah.
I knew there was going to be a problem there since I was over in Manchester about 97. And I seen a part of Manchester turn.
Yes, I'm from Manchester, mate. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Totally gone now.
Turned like that there. For 3 years I was there and I went, fuck this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is bad.
When you live amongst it, you know, a family moves in, or just another family moves in, then another. If you move away for 3 or 4 years and come back, the entire street's gone.
Well spoken, sir.
Cheers, sir. Nice to meet you. Yeah, thanks a lot. Get active. Yeah.
Truthful hurt.
Yeah.
It's Banksy, you're right there, mate, because at the end of the day, we've seen this over here in a lot of Protestant areas where you get the odd families moving in.
Yeah.
Oh, the odd Catholic family, no bother.
Yeah.
Everybody gets on fine, then you get some more, and we want this, we want you to stop doing this. Then you go on fucking further down the lane when you got 100 in the fucking street. Then they're basically turning around saying to you, you have to do what we need.
But see, that's a power thing, isn't it? Yeah. And as I said in his speech, we, in that situation, we face a threat to both of the people on that street from a third party. And unless you can come to an agreement with each other to fight that, thanks for coming.
That's right, man. Make sure you get down the valley for a leg now.
Because the people opposing us over there, they're just communists. They're just scum.
Cultural Marxist bastards, as far as I'm concerned, they should be fucking put down.
Yeah.
No hard
It is the activists amongst every community, and to be quite honest, we've got to get rid of them. I mean, all we've got to do is deport a couple of thousand people. We know everybody in jail and every imam, all of a sudden the monster's headless, and then we can concentrate on what's left.
Jada, can we have a quick hello off you? How do you think it went today?
Oh, very good, very good.
Very good.
It's always brilliant.
Good turnout, isn't it? I love Belfast myself. I'm sure I'll be coming back here myself.
I know, I love it. I love the people. I love the weather as well.
Well, I don't know about today. It's a bit wet, like, but
you know what a good crowd.
Yeah.
There are people. Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Quality.
Yeah, brilliant. And Councillor Jolene Bunting.
Yeah, brilliant job, yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Jada. Respect that. I'm doing that. Respect that. Thank you.
I'll have to take you home with me then.
Anyway, Paul, give your hand before you go. Respect that. Yeah, well, thank you.
I'll be back, don't worry.
Because obviously we've got to secure these.
Good luck. Yeah. We'll go with her, and then you stay here. Then all right.
Meeting you back here, yeah? Come on, Doc.
Oh, what a guy!
When you got a minute, I need to.
Just ask me how to get a new chance to sell.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I love John. God bless you, mate.
Anyway, here's Paul Rimmer. How do you think it went today, mate?
Oh, it's fantastic. What a great bunch of people.
Brilliant, isn't it? And your speech went down really good, mate.
Well, I think all the speeches were great.
Yeah. Passionate again, as usual.
Well, I saw the can coming halfway through the speeches. Oh, what's going on here?
That's going to be your new name, you know.
What's that?
Paul.
Passionate Paul.
Really?
Passionate Paul.
You having it?
Passionate Paul, loving it.
Yeah, I like that. Bit of Linfield there, we like the old Linfield.
Yeah, man.
Paul, you got a minute? You got a sec? Sure. Anyway, we've got Paul Golden here. How do you think it went today, mate?
Very, very well. I think the turnout was very, very good.
Yeah.
There must have been 10 of the great unwashed shouting obscenities, making idiots of themselves. A lot of these people here said that they recognise them from kind of IRA activities. So
wouldn't surprise me that.
No, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Something I have learnt today, I didn't know that, about the your logo. It was based over here at the beginning. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I lived the first year of Britain First. I lived here,
right,
and it was obviously we were building it up online mainly. But this is where it all started, in Belfast and out in County Down. This is where it all started, and obviously, our logo is based upon an Ulster Loyalist kind of logo. We adapted it slightly, put a lion in there to represent the British Lion and the Union Jack and all that. But essentially, that is a kind of a Unionist Loyalist insignia.
You know, a lot of people who I speak to, they all moan about paying a little couple of quid. That's all it is. You know what I'm going to do? On Monday, I'm going to actually sign up to Britain First myself. I don't mind giving you a fucking tenner a week, mate, whatever. You're doing a good job. Yeah, respect. And you, Dad, yeah. Anyway, so get signing up. Let's take our country back. Right, that's all you're going to get off me today. I'm over and out. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's take our country back.